One Piece Chapter 1191 has dropped. You know what that means. Gotta get into it, review it, break it down. Let's see what Oda's cooking up. Chapter 1191 is titled Loki is Here. No cover page, no color spread, no nothing. Just getting right into the chapter, picking up where we left off after the last one, with Imu and Scopper clashing and Scopper being on the losing end, getting his left arm cut off, symbolically the left hand of the Pirate King losing his left hand. So picking up from there, Luffy is still trying to recover from his wounds while also checking on Scopper because they're right next to each other at this point. And Luffy's like, "Old man, are you alright? You got hurt trying to protect me." And Gabon's like, "I wasn't trying to protect a disappointment like you. I'm fighting for Elbaf." I find it funny that despite everything that's going on, Gabon is still giving Luffy shit. But they continue their conversation, and Luffy's basically like, "Gramps, what is this guy? Like, what are we fighting against?" And Gabon says, "Well, his true nature seems to be a big secret. But if you had to put it in a word, I would say he's God." Luffy also in this panel is completely covered in blood, like from head to toe. It's kind of insane. And then of course Scopper, his entire arm is just gushing. He's basically sitting in a pool of his own blood. But cutting away from their conversation, we down in the underworld see the mountain that Imu has fallen down into as well. So Imu was not completely unharmed from Scopper's attack. He also took some damage. It just wasn't as significant as Scopper. But down here, while he's on this leveled out mountain, he lets out a massive burst of Conqueror's Haki once again, and all the animals down there, Loki's buddies, are just getting knocked out, and even Luffy and Gabon can feel it a little bit from where they're at. We then get a panel of Imu, and like I said, he is on his back. He was like, there was an even exchange to a degree from Gabon. He just actually cut his arm off while Imu is pretty much immortal. But then we get some dialogue from Imu, and he says, "The Pirate King's crew, it was unforeseeable that those used from God Valley would be such a nuisance. I ought to have dealt with them along with rocks back then." And then he raises up his hand, and in the next panel, it turns into like a more demonic beast-like hand and grows at least 2-3 times in size. We see a dark silhouette with like longer hair and longer horns, a big hand with like a circle wrapping around it, like a cloth looking thing. And then we see Imu's face, and sure enough, the horns are bigger. It looks a little bit just overall bulkier, bigger shoulders and everything, but we haven't seen the full body yet. And right before we're about to get the full reveal, he shoots off of that leveled mountain right back up to the Sun Realm, and we cut away to the library with Robin, Chopper, Saul, and Biblo. The long-awaited what is going to happen? Why does Chopper need to go to the library so badly? And I'm gonna keep it a buck. We still don't really get confirmation of what Biblo is trying to say in this chapter. Is just this one page where we get a lot of hoot, 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 but the only reaction we get from Chopper is just, huh? And then he looks a little surprised. But I mean, that could quite literally mean anything. I talked about this in another video, but I think the most likely two options of what information we're going to get dropped, and it doesn't have to be one or the other, it could be both, but I'm thinking Biblo either is very, very old, potentially, 800 years old in the Void Century range, or even just a couple hundred, 300-400. So that is probably what's going to be revealed. He's going to have some knowledge. Maybe potentially about Imu's powers, how to stop him, something like that. But then also, I think he could potentially have some information about Chopper's Devil Fruit and the truth behind that, because if you go watch my video about Chopper's Devil Fruit, there's a lot of things that don't make sense, so I think we're going to be getting some truth about that. So those are the two options. Again, like I said, it doesn't have to be one or the other. But for sure, one of those things is going to be the case coming up. 100%, I guarantee it. Back to the Conqueror's Haki barrage, though. Like I said, this Conqueror's Haki is even, has Luffy and Gabon, like, what the fuck out. Like, this Haki is intense. And as Imu shoots through up the Sun Realm, he punches an entire branch of the Atom Tree just clean off. Just endless Conquerors flowing from this man. I don't understand where the stamina is coming from. Like, I was under the impression, Loki last chapter, that Imu is running out of stamina. We saw him kind of coughing up blood and huffing a lot. So I was like, all right, he might be reaching time limit. We might just need to stall him for a little bit longer. Not in this chapter, because on the next page, we see that full-fledged form that he had, the one that was silhouetted, and it's 10 times crazier than the one that he pulled up in. He's at least probably 2-3 times bigger. He's got, instead of the circle that's on his back with all the eyes, it's now one cloth is wrapped around his left arm and then one around his right arm, and then there's a third one that goes around his waist. His tattoos have changed a little bit. He has now 3 skulls that are going across his chest instead of just the normal dots, and then the zigzagged line one. Wings are even bigger. Hair is even longer. It's looking very Joy Boyish at this point. He still has the Honebami, the Bone Eater sword with like the snake that wraps around it. He's looking absolutely crazy. Imu says, to escape from Honebami with only an arm lost. How impressive. And then Scopper replies, that's my line. You walking away unscathed from my blow is a bad look on me. And then he gets a little funny and he says, not that I've got the hands to applaud you. He's already making light of his newly lost arm. And then Imu says, this next attack will leave nothing behind. So he's already on their ass again. And Scopper tells Luffy that he needs to pack up his crew and leave Elbaf. I'm not going to lie. When I first read this, I was like, hell no. We cannot have another Egghead situation where we're just running away from every situation, every minor inconvenience. Like, at some point, we need to make the stand. Even if we take the L, we take the L. But Luffy's not accustomed to running. That's not in his forte typically. He was all right with it on Egghead because that wasn't exactly, an island that they needed to be at to pursue the One Piece. But like Elbaf is he considers his territory to a degree. Like, he has a lot of ties to the Giants. So he's not just gonna leave this territory high and dry to pretty much burn, get enslaved, whatever the hell Imu has planned at this point. So I respected Luffy when he does say that he's not doing that this time. Imu is all about that action, though. He does not care about the talking, and he comes in with another Honebame swing, and Scopper once again tries to get in front of Luffy. The Conqueror's Haki coming out. Will he be able to block it? We'll never know, because guess who comes in other than the other son of Harold, the slept-on, underrated one, Hajrudin. Hajrudin comes in from the blind side with a crazy powerful Gungnir, enough to send Imu flying all the way back into the tree again. So we have Loki knock Imu back into the Atom Tree when he first went Needhog mode, and then now we have Hajrudin with just a base Gungnir, nothing, no Devil Fruit, no Haki, supposedly no nothing, and once he does the same thing. So both these brothers popping out for their country, you gotta respect it. As Imu's flying back, he tried to send some like little Maki balls on Hajrudin to, kind of just like instant teleport, cheese him again. And Hajrudin was smart enough to know this time. He's played these games before, so he put his shield up and was able to block it, but of course, nope, that shield is just totally busted. There's no way it was withstanding another one of those blows. Hajrudin cannot believe that Scopper was lost a limb in this fight. That's just unbelievable, which is kind of crazy. Imagine you're living with this guy who's supposedly unstoppable. I mean, beats every single warrior you've ever seen him fight, and then in a matter of probably 5 minutes in their time, he just completely defeated and has lost an arm. That's crazy. But Scopper is like, we don't have time for this. This guy is immortal. We're not winning this fight. You need to help the Straw Hats get off this island. And Luffy's still refusing. He's still trying to will himself to recover, trying to use those imagination powers to get kick-started again. Luffy says, I ate a lot. I can make it happen. And Scopper says, what kind of logic is that? You can't fight anymore. And as they're in the middle of arguing, Luffy says, hey, it's a bomb. And just a massive explosion. Imu is on smoke, just not giving them a second to breathe. Luckily, Hajrudin is able to cover everyone up, and he takes another just direct hit. He's getting fucked up. Him and Loki, honestly, I think have been taking the most damage in this arc so far, and I don't think it's close. Maybe Luffy, maybe Scott Burglo, but Loki and Hajrudin just been taking direct point-blank attacks. Like, it's kind of crazy. Hajrudin still refusing to back down, throws a crazy aura lob for Loki, and he says, "It's okay if I die. Loki is here." And Loki comes running in from the back. I'm telling you, the two guys who have been getting fucked up the most are about to do some crazy shit. They come running in from behind, and even Luffy at this point, somehow, some way, is back in the fight. He says, "I'm also back on my feet." And Scopper can't believe it either. He's like, "What in the world are you guys?" And Luffy loads up Gum Gum, and Hajrudin and Loki go 3 generals. Loki's getting in on this shit, and it is the Gokoku sovereignty. So the Hokoku, is I'm pretty sure the 2, which Dory and Brogy do a lot. It's like their combined axe swing. But when there's 3 of them, Gokoku sovereignty. So Luffy got in on that shit, not even in giant form. They included him, so crazy spread to end the chapter. It's funny, like a week ago, I made a video about who could come in and save the day in Elbaf, like who could be the hero when we really need him the most, and Hajrudin was one of the candidates I had on there, and I was thinking maybe him and Usopp would have like a combined attack, and maybe Usopp would get in on the Hokoku sovereignty. But I did also mention that potentially him and Loki could do it. I think it would be really cool if we saw a, Loki and Hajrudin, maybe like Hokaku sovereignty. Even though Loki seems to be out of this fight, he has been donutted twice, so we shouldn't see him again. But I just think, at some point we got to see it. But, hopefully this arc, that would be, a sick attack to kick Imu out of here. To be fair, I didn't think that we'd be getting it this soon, like literally a couple chapters later, but I'm here for it. And throwing Luffy in on it, I mean, the only thing that would have made it better is if Luffy was in giant mode. Honestly, they would have had all 3 of them, but I'll take it nonetheless. I have to circle back to it because I cannot believe the stamina here from Imu. I mean, to our knowledge, from what we've heard, Imu should be weakened outside of Marie Joie. Like, the powered up Imu, the stronger Imu, should be in Marie Joie. So if we're struggling this much with this version of Imu, a weakened one, going to the brink, I mean, everybody just different levels of fucked up. I can't imagine what it's going to be like at Marie Joie. I have a good feeling, though, that next chapter we are not going to see the Imu versus the trio fight. I think Oda's going to cut away from that, and we'll finally stop getting blue-balled on the Chopper and Biblo shit, and we're going to go check in on Zoro and Sanji versus Killingham and Summers, because we ain't forgot, Oda. You're supposed to be fleshing out these fights as well. They just both got upgrades the last we saw, both Killingham and Summers. So I'm hoping we get the other plot lines that are kind of going around. And also, what the fuck are Nami, Frankie, Brooke, Usopp? What is that group doing exactly? Just sitting there holding Shuri? Like, I'm kind of getting sick of this shit. Y'all need to contribute. Mainly Usopp, mainly Brooke, Frankie, he just got an upgrade as well this arc. Like, show out. Jinbei is kind of covered, he blocked Imu's attack and protected Loki. So, I'm all good on Jinbei. He's about the only one that's chilling. Usopp, I need to step up. I need him to come and do something. Anything at this point. Brooke, whatever, I guess he's fine if he's sidelined, but that group needs to do something. Every other group has been contributing except for that one. I really do enjoy that Oda has not forgotten about the second son of Harold. I know, of course, majority of Elbaf has been the Loki show. It is all the Loki hype just through the roof, so it is about due time for Hajrudin to get his flowers again and, get a little bit of screen time, show out a little bit. So yeah, we're just like really happy with everything we saw. It felt like a bit of a shorter chapter, but like all the shit we saw, it was just all these breaks are easily worth it. But that is about all I've got before I start just mindlessly start rambling on. As always, make sure you guys let me know what you thought of this chapter down below. Any theories you might have, what you think we're going to see next. We are on break. Once again, it is an Oda break next week, which, as I always say, as long as Oda is healthy, he's getting the rest that he needs, I'm here for it. Keep on pushing out the peak. But yeah, until the next one, peace.